Welcome to Mindful Mondays. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. Gonna wait just a few minutes to let some people jump on. So, why Mindful Mondays? Well, we're in an age and a day that is chock full of opportunity and just advancements, and there's a really rapid growth. You see AI taking over so many different markets as a tool, and people have some fear rising about how it's being used. And there's also, at this time in our evolution as human beings, we have a really high intellect, and our kind of presence and our ability to really tap into our higher levels of consciousness is still rising, right? Still developing, still evolving. And so sometimes we create things that we haven't yet found a way to actually use for the highest good. So you can take that and kind of just marinate on it. I'd love to hear what you have to say if anyone has any opinions about that or thoughts or information to share about kind of that kind of inverse relationship that we have with our intellect and our consciousness still evolving. Um, and and so, my goal with Mindful Mondays, really is to uh, assist in creating resources. I really do believe that life is meant to be absolutely delicious. And if it's not, we have the power to change it. If we don't like the taste, we can change it, right? So when we leave each other on these Mindful Mondays, I would really love, for us to leave refreshed and feeling resourceful. And so whenever you come to this space, that's my intention. So let's jump in. In the description of today's topic, I shared, that we'd be talking about 3 easy ways to ease into ease, and even amidst the madness, right? Amidst the world of busyness and business, we can sometimes get caught up. We get caught up in our own mind chatter. We get caught up in the chatter of the world. We get caught up in kind of our own making of a hamster wheel where we feel like we're running and can't ever catch up to ourselves or a day or our schedules. And so, how can we just kind of regain the power, right? Take back the reins of our lives, and even amidst the madness, feel like we have a sense of self and connectedness and attunement, so that we can really show up in our lives in a way that is meaningful, both to ourselves and those whose lives we touch, our families, people that we pass, on the street, people in the supermarket, right? We touch lives every moment, every soul that passes us, we leave a mark, right? And there's an opportunity for an exchange there. And so it would really serve us and the greater good to have a an ability, an availability, a capacity to show up in our best, as in our best selves and as our best selves, in every moment. And obviously, as human beings, we have so many layers, and we are multifaceted, and we have emotions, and we feel them, and sometimes we feel them many times over, the same one from the same incident. And so there's not an expectation of us being completely zen and completely dialed in and tuned in and perfect by any means, right? But it's just about having choice, right? Isn't it about being able to feel like you're in control of your own faculties? Like the world doesn't have control of your emotions. Like every situation doesn't just fling you emotionally from one end of the spectrum to the other. We really want to have a sense of solidarity with ourselves and a capacity for, really self-regulating our own emotions, to feel what we need to feel, and then be able to do what we want to do, right? And so that's where this mindfulness concept comes in. You might hear the word thrown around. I like to just kind of pare it down to presence. To be able to show up in the moment with the fullness of who we are, in the wholeness that we talk about, where all aspects of ourselves are aligned, where we're in heart coherence, meaning our mind and our hearts and our bodies, and so therefore our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions are all in alignment, and they're all conveying and communicating the same message, right? That's what coherence means. Alignment is simply agreement, right? So if you're ever confused by those terms, it really just means that. And it can be applied, across a myriad of disciplines and situations. But when it boils it down, that's really what it is. And that's what we seek, because we feel our best when we're aligned. People feel they're the best from us when we're aligned, right? And have you ever kind of been in someone's presence and you could kind of sense that they weren't saying and feeling the same thing, like they were a little bit off? And so you can feel that because our nervous systems are very much constantly sending out information, and we're like antennas, right? And so whether you have honed your skill of intuition or not, you can sense something's just not right, or you just, for some reason, maybe you don't even realize why you don't want to be around the person anymore. You just kind of go. You just choose not to be around them. You might say, I just don't like spending time with them, and you may not even know why. And so tonight, the three things that I really want to share with you are the ways that we get out of alignment and we pull ourselves out of alignment the fastest and most commonly, using these three things, right? And so the number one way that we do this, that we take ourselves out of our own peace, is by thinking about what's already happened and bringing it into the now, right? So when we bring our past into the now, we then have the same emotions come up that came up when the original thing happened in the past. And it triggers thoughts that are cyclical. We keep having the same thoughts and the feelings and the thoughts and the feelings. Now, emotions are meant to be felt, right? They're energy in motion, however. And so 90 seconds is how long it takes for an emotion to completely be processed. Now, that 90 seconds can begin again if we continue focusing, right? Where we focus our attention, brings those emotions back up again. And we kind of get into this cycle, this pattern, if you will. And so when we're in this pattern, this cycle, we need something to break the spin, right? Because sometimes we start to spin out, it starts to play out in our lives, we find ourselves in a rut. So in order to stop this spin, there are ways, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's one way. We go into the past and we pull it into the now. Anyone relate to that? You think about things that have happened and you feel the same feelings. You might feel it in the pit of your stomach. You might feel it in your heart. Think about a past relationship and you get depressed. You eat, ice cream for a week for dinner, and so we have those past experiences that we re-experience in the present. And then the second way is that we go into the future and we round up all the possible things that would, might happen. And usually we lean toward what could happen that's terrible. And we bring that to the now. And then we're anxious about it. We have fear come up. We have imaginations. But the fact is, our subconscious cannot decipher between what is real and what's imagined. This is why, we can go to a scary movie and feel like we're jumping out of our skin by something we see on the screen that we know is not actually happening. We completely know that it's made up and it's not actually even real. And even if it was, it can't get to us because it's on a screen, right? So we know this consciously, cognitively, we can, understand this on that level. But if we suspend our disbelief and we really buy into the story, we let ourselves get lulled, kind of in a rhythmic lull. We allow ourselves to be affected neurally and our nervous system to be affected, and we have the same exact internal experience. And so when we go into the future and we bring that into the now, we distract ourselves from the present moment, right? And so we're in this anxious state, or we're in this kind of sad or depressed state, or somewhere in the middle. And none of it is actually real. We're recreating it in the moment and re-experiencing it. And I'm sure we can all attest. We can all know a time that we've done this, or maybe we do it on a regular basis and want to stop it. The third way that we take ourselves out of ease, we call dis-ease, is this kind of concept of horizon happiness. We throw our line of hope way out into the future, and we say, way out there somewhere is going to be better than now. And so if way out there is better than now, that means now is terrible. And I don't allow myself to be happy because my happiness is hung out on that line of hope way out in the future of that being better. And I don't allow myself to fully experience the joy and the aliveness of the now. Right? So these are the three primary ways that we take ourselves out of ease, and we get kind of stuck in the mire and the muck and the busyness. And most of it takes place right here, and in relationship to the busyness out there, there's just chaos. So we're human, right? And so this is going to happen sometimes. So what we need are tools, right? We need ways, resources to allow ourselves to regulate, to bring ourselves back, and to remember. The truth is, we have power. We are actually in control of this, how we feel. We actually can control our state. Now, you're not always going to be able to avoid the thoughts, right? But what you can do is change your relationship to them. It can change the amount of power we give them, right? There is a way for us to relate to what's happening that shifts our experience with it, right? So, all right, you ready for the three ways that we can move out of those three major ways that we cause dis-ease, right? Uneasiness in our life. Number one, take off your shoes and put them on the dirt. Get yourself grounded, right? It's one of the easiest and fastest ways when you're already outside. Just take your shoes off. And actually the wetter the ground, the better, so it's really a blessing to be able to just find peace by touching our skin to the earth, right? And what ancient wisdom has always been teaching, and it's been known, and you resonate with it when you hear it, that we're deeply connected to the earth, and it has an effect on us. And the fact that we have this relationship with it, we live in the atmosphere of it, and we live on it, right? And in a sense, in it, we have to have a relationship with it, right? And so because we are in such close proximity. And so that's the number one way, that's the number one or number three way that we can begin to bring ourselves back to center, to really allow ourselves to feel more like ourselves in a moment where we're feeling pulled out of self. And there's a lot of research that's coming up now, even though ancient wisdom has for many millennia, been kind of on it and understood this, but it can relieve stress. It's actually, there's a physiological effect that it has where it actually decreases the cortisol levels. So when we go into fight or flight, cortisol is one of the things that's released. It's actually the thing that wakes us up in the morning. Um, and kind of that's when all the hormones that help us sleep go down, our melatonin, all the things that help us to kind of feel restful decrease, and the things that make us feel wakeful increase. And so walking barefoot has the same effect, this kind of calming effect, bringing the cortisol down, making us feel more centered. And it also can reduce oxidative stress. There is a lot of research being done right now about the flow of the electrons from the earth and their effect on the body, and the antioxidant effect that it can have. And so it could essentially even fight disease. Disease, see what I did there? um, and also, I spent many years doing therapeutic fitness, um, and the number one place that I would always begin with people when I was looking to help them kind of regain a sense of wellness was their feet. And because it is our foundation. And so actually a lot of our feet are getting weaker and weaker by the day because we keep them in shoes. So it can be really rejuvenating to the whole self to actually and awaken some of the muscles in the feet and have them increase the circulatory component of muscle contraction. Um, and let's see, how else? Um, there is there's a there's some research that's been done on reflexology, and when we walk correctly, there's certain aspects and certain points of our feet can actually connect to the ground and potentially increase our eyesight. Bet you didn't know that one. And there are many other benefits. There's just the exposure of our skin to the sun. We know this increases our vitamin D, which has a slew of positive health benefits. And the one that I really love the most, because this is the thing that I think people can benefit from, uh, is really having a way to regulate their nervous system, right? And so this is one way, actually touching bare skin to the earth. And obviously there are things that you want to make sure of. You don't want to be walking in glass or poo, or you want to find a clean area that you can actually feel good and safe about. You don't get all anxious walking in bare feet. It kind of defeats the purpose. There are just lots. There's also research about its connection to the vagus nerve, and it just goes on and on. There's just so many positive effects. So one way is take those shoes off and get barefoot. Let's go. The second way I would say that is easily accessible to us, that needs no equipment, is dancing. Dancing, first of all, it's just fun, right? Forget all of the other health possibilities, right? The benefits of, moving, increased circulation, burning calories, just, increasing your lung capacity, just all many ways. But it decreases stress. It's a way to actually so shaking is actually one of the ancient ways that and primal ways that we actually shed energy. And so I'm not talking about like just trying to mimic a dance that someone's doing on a video. What I'm talking about is authentically just moving the way your body feels like moving when it hears the music, or the music that's playing inside your own spirit. Let your body just move. And don't worry, about how it looks, but just really tap in and sign in and tune into how it feels. Because when you move your body in ways that are unusual, especially ways that you don't normally move, you're going to get pulled into attention, because your brain is like, what, we're doing something new, because it's potentially unsafe. So we have to bring everybody to attention to check it out. And so it's a way to kind of bring yourself forth. And so when you're focused on on just being the joy of the movement, you're not focused on the past or the future. And then I would say that the one way that you can access anytime, anywhere, is your breath. It's always accessible to you. And usually we're being breathed, right? Usually, our innate intelligence of our body is breathing us. But we have the unique ability to also breathe ourselves. And it is actually the only body rhythm that is like that we have conscious control over as a species, that is easily accessible, right? Everyone can tune into that. Not everyone can slow their heart rate on purpose, right? There's some people that are able to do it on another level other than just regulating their nervous system, but honestly dial into their heart. But this is what I'm talking about here, is using the pace of our breath, right, in order to elicit a response from our internal state, right? So this is the control and the power we have over how we feel. Lots of research is being done about the effect of actually rapid breathing, and how it can actually elicit emotions like fear and stress, anxiety, right? And so if you think about that, then what does the other end of the spectrum hold for us, right? And so when we slow our breathing, and we take our time, and we allow ourselves to really give our attention to it, and intentionality does have a component as far as the effect that it has. But when you intentionally, rhythmically breathe, it can really shift your state in a matter of moments. So if you're in need of some tool, right, of giving you 3 powerful tools that you can use in order to interrupt the disease and find your way to more ease. And so let's leave here tonight with a sense of being refreshed, feeling resourceful. And I'm just going to say, keep it juicy. Life is meant to be delicious. And if it's not up to your standards of taste, then change it, because we can. Peace and light to everyone, and I will see you next time.